If you've ever watched a quiet child completely freeze up in a group and wondered, how on earth do I help them blossom? Well, you're in exactly the right place. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're tapping into some truly fascinating insights on how dance provides a brilliant, totally nonverbal pathway to build self-esteem in shy kids. It's a method that's gaining some massive traction right now with educators, and honestly, it offers a real lifeline for kids who just struggle to find their footing in traditional settings. Which really brings us to the big million-dollar question. How do we actually help shy kids? I mean, imagine a hypothetical kid. Let's call him Leo, right? When you ask Leo to join a lively group or speak up, he doesn't just feel a little butterflies in the stomach nervous, he experiences visceral panic. You can literally see it. His shoulders slump, his eyes dart to the floor. He gets that classic deer in headlights look. For kids like Leo, just trying out a new activity is downright terrifying. And as parents or educators, our gut instinct is usually to just give traditional encouragement. We say, just speak up or go make a friend. But for a profoundly shy child, that pressure almost always backfires. They just retreat further into their shell. We obviously want them to feel included, but man, we clearly need a completely different toolkit here. To really get why this works, let's contrast it with a traditional classroom. Think about it. A classroom is basically a high-pressure zone built almost entirely around speaking up. Success is measured by raising your hand, reading out loud, answering questions while 20 pairs of eyes stare at you. For a shy kid, navigating that takes an exhausting amount of mental and emotional energy. But compare that to a dance setting. Dance offers this beautifully structured, nonverbal communication. It blends creativity, rhythm, and teamwork, but, and this is the key part, without that terrifying demand to verbally perform. It literally flips the script. It takes away the heavy weight of words and replaces it with the absolute freedom of movement. Section 1. Dance as alternative communication. Okay, let's dive right in and look at how dance acts as this powerful alternative language for kids who just freeze up when asked to speak. You see, when words become overwhelming, movement steps in. It's a perfectly valid and honestly often more profound way of expressing what's going on inside. There's this unique dynamic at play here that experts call the permission of dance. When a kid's body takes center stage in a structured routine, they're essentially handed a free pass to participate fully, completely bypassing the anxiety of forced eye contact. Going back to our shy kid, Leo, hiding in the back row. Suddenly he realizes that a simple, synchronized arm movement tells the whole room, hey, I'm here. No need to dominate a conversation, he's seen, and those agonizing communication barriers are just gone. Now, it is super vital to understand that this isn't some overnight miracle or a forced demand. It's a really gradual, incredibly respectful process. So instead of expecting an immediate performance, the child goes on this gentle, step-by-step emotional journey. In step 1, they're just exploring emotions and ideas privately. Maybe Leo just closes his eyes, swaying to the beat, feeling it internally without stressing over who's watching. Then, in step 2, they start to gradually share those movements once they realize, okay, this space is safe. And finally, step 3 is that smooth, beautiful transition from reluctance to genuine, joyful engagement. It's a natural progression that entirely honors the child's boundaries. It works within their comfort zone to gently and steadily stretch it outwards. Section 2. Designing a safe space. What's super fascinating here is how specific teaching strategies are literally designed to build this psychological safety net. Because it's not just about, cranking up the music and hoping for the best. Instructors actively strip away a child's anxiety by setting up crystal clear routines. When you know exactly what's coming next, fear just plummets. On top of that, these programs prioritize choices, like letting a child pick between a simple step or a slightly more complex hop. That gives back a sense of autonomy that shy kids so often feel like they lack. And here's the best part. They emphasize effort over outcome. Unlike a stressful spelling bee, there is literally no catastrophically wrong way to step to a beat if you're putting in the effort. Honestly, I think a lot of adults could use this kind of grace the next time we're terrified on a wedding dance floor, right? So this super supportive environment naturally flips how feedback works. Positive reinforcement in these spaces is all about the small wins. For a shy kid, a massive win might just be deciding to stay in the room when every fiber of their being wanted to run away, or maybe bravely trying out a new motion they felt a bit unsure about. Coaches hype up these specific, quiet little moments of progress instead of demanding some flawless routine. And psychologically, stacking these tiny, low-stakes successes is huge. It literally helps regulate the child's nervous system. It completely shatters that terrifying microscope effect that makes them freeze up and slowly builds this quiet but entirely unshakable sense of capability. Section 3. Confidence through social connection. Now, building self-esteem isn't just a solo mission. It's heavily tied to how we connect with others. And this reveals a truly beautiful mechanism of dance. Through shared counts, synchronized movements, and group formations, these kids build a deep, authentic connection that totally skips the awkward small talk phase. Think about that visceral feeling of moving in total unison with a group, breathing to the exact same beat, stepping on the exact same count. As humans, we are primally wired to sync up rhythmically. It's like an ancient form of bonding. For a shy child, it sends a clear signal. You belong here, and you feel that belonging deep in your bones, even if you haven't spoken a single word to the kid dancing right next to you. As they get more comfortable within that silent, rhythmic connection, you actually start to see the magic happen. That kid who's spent weeks staring intensely at their shoelaces, they finally look up. You start catching these genuine, relaxed smiles. They begin watching their peers with curiosity instead of fear, and eventually they just step right out and join in with true independence. A lot of programs will even weave in these brief child-friendly interaction games that rely entirely on movement instead of talking. These act as a brilliant, incredibly low-pressure bridge from total nonverbal safety to eventually real verbal confidence. Honestly, it is thrilling to watch them finally realize that their presence really does matter. Section 4. How parents can help. Okay, so here's the absolutely crucial part. Caregivers can totally take this powerful philosophy out of the dance studio and bring it straight into the living room. The progress doesn't have to hit a wall the second class ends. Adults can keep this amazing momentum going at home by following just a few simple steps. First off, always celebrate the practice and the effort over a perfect performance. Second, encourage short bursts of joyful daily movement. Turn a boring chore into a spontaneous kitchen dance party to their favorite song. Just let them invent the goofiest moves they can think of. And lastly, frame dance as a pressure-free journey of personal growth. By making physical expression a fun, totally normal part of their safest space, kids are way more likely to push through those initial nerves out in the real world. Ultimately, the goal of all this inclusive, incredibly thoughtful coaching is beautifully simple, as our source puts it. We want to turn hesitation into participation and participation into lasting confidence. It's just such a powerful reminder. When the standard verbal paths to making friends are blocked, or they just feel way too intimidating, there are alternative routes. And these physical, nonverbal routes to self-expression are just as rich and absolutely just as effective at building up a child's spirit. So, wrapping up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought. The next time words feel like an impossible hurdle for a kid you care about, remember the silent, remarkable power of movement. Whether you're a parent, a teacher, or just a really supportive presence in a young person's life, you literally have the tools to change their trajectory. So, my question for you is, how will you help a shy child step into their confidence today?